Well, B&M said they only had 2 sets in. I didn't expect to come home with a box full. And welcome to my review of the Doctor Who B&M sets for 2017. Now, I wasn't originally planning to get the 9th Doctor set because it didn't really interest me, but this is where the little story comes in, so I'm going to do a little quick story. Went to B&M, they didn't have the sets in whatsoever, so I said, could I give you my number and could you ring me when you've got them in? And the next day rolled around and said, look, we've got the sets in, but we've only got 2 sets of the figures in, so I thought that would probably be the 4th Doctor and the 9th Doctor set. I didn't expect to get the monster set, so I was expecting to come home with just the 4th Doctor set. What it turned out was when the chap come out with a big box, he meant that he had all 3 sets in, so I kind of felt obliged to get the 9th Doctor set considering all the hassle I went through to get them. So I've ended up with the 9th Doctor set, so I'll be doing a comparison on all the figures, because this is the way the video works, is I look at the figures, look at the differences from the existing figures, because the B&M sets are essentially subtle variants and repaints of existing figures, and great for people who missed out on getting certain figures like the Tomb Cyber Controller. So without further ado, let's look at the packaging for the figures, and I'll put a little timestamp on the screen, so if you want to skip the packaging and go straight onto the figures, then you can do. Right then, kicking off with the packaging, we've got the standard Collector's Series design there with the scale of the figures there. Doctor Who The Monsters Collector Figure Set. What the set includes, and we've got the figures displayed nicely in a window box showing off the various accessories, the guns and the helmets, which is very nice. The back, we can see the figures displayed there nicely, again showing the scale of the set. Obviously that is labelled wrong, it is not Commander Sontaran score, it is General Style or Commander Stark. And the side saying what the set includes again. The packaging for the 4th Doctor set is exactly the same, obviously the scale there, what the set is, the 4th Doctor Collector set includes the 4th Doctor, Leela and K9 Mark 1 there, and it displays in the same window box with K9 there, showing the various accessories, the sonic screwdriver and Leela's knife. Again, showing you 2 of the figures, and we have what the set includes. The back, the other side, but this time showing another figure within the set and the scale of the figures. Now onto the 9th Doctor set. I think you get the drift of the packaging, got the scale there. Doctor Who, the 9th Doctor Collector's Figure Set, what the set includes the 9th Doctor, Rose Tyler and Auton, so we've got the grey Auton there, the sonic screwdriver displayed nicely, and whatever that is. The side, the back, and the other side. So kicking off with the monster set, which is probably the one what people want the most for the Cyber Controller and the Cyberman. And it's quite an odd set because obviously this chap, the Sontaran labelled Commander score, which is completely wrong because this is the Christopher Ryan Sontaran. So here he is, the Baked Bean Cyber Controller from Tomb of the Cybermen. Now, many people have been wanting to get this figure because he is a highly sought after figure, because you can only get him in the collect and build wave, so you have to buy the Cybermen to build the figure. So it's great for people to finally get a hold of him. So the way this video is going to work with all the figures is, if they've got an existing figure, I will compare them at the end once I've done articulation and detail. So articulation with the Cyber Controller is head, no articulation because they didn't move. The arms do rotate but are hindered by the piping. We do have bicep but are again hindered by the wires. Elbow, wrist and the waist can do a full 360. The legs do kind of kick out, they do move. We do have knee and we do have boot articulation, and of course, if I didn't mention, hand as well. So yeah, articulation pretty standard for your Cyberman figure. So if we look at the detail is done really nice. We've got the nice sort of silver light to give that glowing look, and the letterbox mouth, which in some angles it looks like it's open and others it looks closed. We've got the nice sort of black rings and sort of rectangle there to really highlight those features there which you're drawn to. We've got the nice sort of speaker where Michael Kilgareth would have spoke out of, or sort of breathing holes, I'm not sure. Then we've got where the cyber sort of helmet would connect, and we've got the battery pack sculpted there where the lights would go to light the dome. We've got the nice detail, ridge detail there, some nice vein detail for the brain, and I do believe that there is a little bit of plastic underneath that to sort of give the illusion that a brain is there. We've got a nice seam on the torso there and some creases to give that lifelike effect there, which is very nice. Got the nice piping detail there, which is done rather nice. If the camera will focus, go on camera. Where we've got the golf practice balls sculpted there you go, you can see the nice little detail of the piping, which is done on his legs as well. There you can see the nice little hockey, well, golf practice balls there. Mine's got a bit sort of warped in the packaging. Yeah, just nice seams there, and yeah, got a nice little bit of detail on the boot. So yeah, detail is pretty standard. As you would expect. If I bring in the original Tomb Cyber controller, you can already see a difference in the head, because here's the main noticeable difference. As you can see, he's now got a silver band around before the sort of meets the dome section there. And yeah, it's just, I'm not sure which one I prefer, but they're both very good. You can see the brain has been more accentuated, so you could see the more of the vein detail there compared to the original. They're a lot more fainter on the original, and it's a bit more hollow plastic. This has been more sort of opaque, so you can't really see into it. But yeah, and then the other main differences are the wiring, and I'm glad I've got another Cyber controller, because mine one likes to pop off because it doesn't really connect that well. So if we just take a look at the wires, you can see there's more of a black wash on the B&M set, which I think I do prefer, because it gives it sort of more of what he's been knocking around this Cyber controller a bit longer than this one. And the boots are a lot more sort of dirtier on the original, whereas they're a bit more clean on that. So he's been polishing his Cyber shoes, whereas he's kind of forgot he's been busy polishing his wires. So yeah, those are the differences. I'm not sure which one I prefer, but I think that the new B&M one's a lot more screen accurate, because when you watch the episode, the helmet is very dark. Now onto the attack of the Cyberman figure. That's a bit of a mouthful, and this is the main reason why I wanted to get this set, because he's technically a brand new figure, but he has had a bit of an update, because he is essentially the Rogue Cyberman repainted and had a few little modifications on him. So if we look at articulation first, head doesn't move, his arms do rotate but are hindered by the chest unit. We do have bicep, elbow, wrist, waist articulation. Legs do kick out and do move forward, and we have knee and boot and wrist, if I did forget to mention it. So if we just take his gun away from him, we'll have a look at the detail for this figure. And I've got to say, I absolutely love this figure. If I was doing my top 10 classic figures, he'd definitely be part of the Cyberman section. So the head is done really nicely. Now, we do have a bit of a little problem, because this figure isn't totally screen accurate, because this little section here where this little gun would be, this should be black, whereas it's sort of a reflectant sort of green on the Earthshock one. And we've got a nice little detailing there of the sections there, which is done really nice. Really do like that, because the Cybermen figures are just incredible, because they really do translate well onto the figures. Now the mouthpiece, that should be now blocked off, that should be silver, but I guess character want to go, look, we sculpted a little chin there. We've got a nice little detail there. We've got this nice little detailing on the chest unit. Now this shouldn't be clear, this should be silver, sort of a block silver colour with the black square there, but obviously not. But yeah, it just shows the nice little chest unit detail there, which is nice. We've got a nice little black wash on the wire there to give it that nice little weathered look. And I just love the little details they've got, because they've put like a sort of a grey wash over the Cyberman figure, so sort of really give it that sort of dirty and worn look, which I really do like. Yeah, you can see all the different detailing there. We can see where the gloves sculpted there. It's just done really nice with sort of a mesh look there, and you just really get the sense of there you go, you can see sort of that grey look there on the Cyber figure. It's just done really nicely. I really do like the detail. You can just see it is magnificent. And we do have the boots there with the laces sculpted, which I think you could argue, possibly say this is a 5 Doctors Cyberman. You just got to give it the Earthshock gun, and you've got a Cyberman from the 5 Doctors. So if we just do a quick comparison now. So here is the Earthshock and the Rogue Cyberman up against him, because this is essentially the Attack Cyberman just Rogue Cyberman repainted into a sort of Cyber Scout. And now they've moulded the face piece, the face plate on, so it's no longer removable, so that's nice. But yeah, you can really see that they've just repainted it, because it is got that weird sort of off silver look on it in certain places. But yeah, let's compare it to the Earthshock one. Straight away you can see a difference with the eyes, which I do prefer the eyes to be sort of blacked out. which is very nice. You can see the reflectant thing there, and the wires are no longer clear. They've been painted silver, which is accurate to the Attack Cyberman figure, which is very nice. And you can really see the difference in silver. If I just move that back, you can see the Earthshock's got that black wash over it, whereas this has got more of a grey wash over it. So yeah, the detailing is exactly the same. As you can see, it's just got a different wash over it. And yeah, and it hasn't got the ski boots anymore. So yeah, it's very nice to see the differences on, see the progression of the 80s Cyberman there. So yeah, it's very nice. And of course the gun has been changed, because obviously in Attack they went for this weird gold colour, which is very odd because the Cybermen are allergic to gold. So yeah, it's sort of an off gold colour, and that's done very nicely, and that just attaches to him very nicely, like so, which is kind of a bit of fiddly when you first get him, because he doesn't want to hold the gun, but he does eventually, and he just holds that nicely. And if we just get the Earthshock gun, you can see it's gone from a silver to a gold. Yeah, very nice. Absolutely love this figure, one of the standout figures for me. Now this is where this set gets a bit interesting, because instead of having a classic Sontaran or another Cyberman, we get a new series Sontaran, which is odd. I mean, they could have done Lynx with gloved hands, but no, we've got this, the Christopher Ryan Sontaran, which is labelled as Commander Score. Now one thing to note is that there is a little two variants of this set going around, and it's just very subtle. Is this little little identification rank badge. Now this one has 5, which suggests that he's general, whereas the other one in what's been going around is the 3 insignia one, which suggests commander. Articulation. Now the B&M set of Sontaran, the head does move a lot easier, so you can rotate it a lot easier. The arms are ball jointed, but again are hindered by the shoulder pads there. We've got bicep, elbow, wrist, waist, what are sort of the ball joints, so you can rotate them round. Legs do kick out there, and we do have thigh, and we have knee, and the feet, the notorious Sontaran new series feet, what do pop off. So for detail, the detail is done rather nicely with this nice sort of matte finish to the Sontaran head, where you get to see this really nice potato detail on him, which is done really nice. You can see the sort of folds in the skin there, and got the nice little facial expression there. I mean, I've seen a few which are a bit cross-eyed, but yeah, it's done nicely. You can see his little goatee beard sculpted there, got the nice little Sontaran insignia. I've got this nice sort of shiny finish to the arm, which was really nice, and this sort of black wash in the sort of folds of the armour to give it that sort of battle worn. Now my really Sontaran does have a bit of a problem with his leg. As you can see, the lines don't match. As you can see, the lines look fine on that one, and the other Sontaran figures, they all match there, whereas mine just don't really match, because he's got the wrong thigh piece. They just don't match. So here is the general style or commander style figures put up against. So we've got the Sontaran Stratagem one, and then we've got the Toys R Us 2010 set. So if we compare him to the original one, you can see the head is already different. As you can see, it's a lot more lighter in colour, and the detail is a lot better on the new one. As you can see more sort of rigid detail there, whereas on the original one it's there faintly, and yeah, he's more glossy and more shiny, and of course he doesn't have a messed up leg, and the communicator is obviously painted black, and it's not painted there. So yeah, those are the main differences really. He's just a bit more shiny and a different sort of head colour there. So if we get the Toys R Us one there, you can see again the head is a lot more lighter. Again, you can see more of the detail there, but he's got more of a shine to him, the B&M one, and this one's probably the most closest to him, because you've got the glossy armour there, and yeah, he's just a bit more cleaner, this one, because this one's got a bit more of a black wash over it, whereas the B&M one's a bit more of a cleaner Sontaran figure there. So taking a look at the helmet, you can see they have got progressively shorter. As you can see, the 2008 one on the end, and then we've got the 2017 one at the very end as well. So yeah, you can see they've become a lot shorter, and the blues are a different shade, and I think that's why the B&M sets have gone up in price by like £1, because these sets do come with accessories. Now on to the 4th Doctor set, and I'm going to be honest, I've absolutely fallen in love with this set. It's just a really nice little set. So let's look at the figures within this now set. On to the 4th Doctor figure. So if we go into articulation first, the head can do a 360 and it does pop off, so it is removable. So if you wanted to put the solid head on, you can. The arms can do a 360, bicep can do a 360, elbow can do a 360, wrist can do a 360, waist can kind of do a 360, but it is hindered by the coat. We got thigh and the legs do kick out, and we do have knee articulation. So your standard 4th Doctor articulation. On to the detail for the 4th Doctor. Now this figure is supposedly based from the Face of Evil and the Robot of Death, but it's more sort of Robot of Death because he's wearing his shoes, if memory serves me correct, because he wore boots in the Face of Evil. So if we look at the head first, the hat is inaccurate because it is meant to be sort of the Seeds of Doom hat, what we saw in the 11th Doctor set and the Seeds of Doom set. But of course this is a repaint of the Pyramids of Mars 4th Doctor, so hey ho. The face, the paint apps have done really nice. You can see sort of the crow's feet around his eyes, and the curl detail's really nice. You can sort of see that curl detail underneath the hat, and of course the hat does have its little ribbon going across it, so that's really nice, and you can see the sort of folds and creases on the hat. So it sort of gives that like he is actually wearing a hat and his afro is filling the hat, and is bubbling out. So yeah, it's done really nice. So like I said, the face is done really nice, and then we've got the cheesy 4th Doctor grin there. You've got the sideburns sculpted there, just really nice. You've got the nice creases on his face, the sort of cragginess. It's just done really nice. The scarf, it's done really nice, and you can tell it is a repaint of the Pyramids of Mars one because they didn't repaint the other side, so there we go. Yeah, the scarf's done really nice with all the different patterns and various patterns there. It's just done really nice, and the tassels, like I said previously, nice. The 4th Doctor head is removable, so you can change to the solemn head, but I'll just quickly do this. Yeah, you can see the great detail of the cravat there, which is wrapped right around there, and you've got the nice shirt collar sticking up there. So that's really nice. Again, I mean, that's just a nice little added bonus to the figure, and it does exist on the original. So yeah, it's nice that they kept the waistcoat. Got the nice detailing of the orangey cravat, which I'll show you the difference of the other one in a minute. And the waistcoat's got this nice checkered detail there with the buttons there, and we've got the nice little loops where he would fasten his jacket, and the buttons sculpted there, and lapel detail. And of course the 4th Doctor with his notorious pockets full of literally everything. The crease is done rather nice. Got the seams and nice little bagginess, sort of folding of the coat there. It's just done really nice, and got the nice buttons on his jacket. And then the trousers are your standard 4th Doctor legs, really, what we saw back in Wave 1. And the shoes are done really nice with this nice little dusty grey, which you could say when he's in the sand mine, it works rather well. We've got the nice little brogue design as well. So if I bring in the original Pyramids of Mars 4th Doctor, so if we look at the head first, so the hat on the original 4th Doctor figure has got more of a green tinge, which is a lot more accurate if you want to class this as the sort of Robots of Death season 14 sort of style Tom Baker, because obviously he sort of swapped the brown hat for the sort of green velvet hat. So if we look at the face sculpt now, as you can see, the paint apps are a lot more heavier, because that's a recent thing with the figures as well, like I've said before. But the paint apps are a lot more heavier with these figures now, because you can really see the crow's feet on the original Tom Baker, whereas it's a bit more sort of hidden within it. But yeah, the eyes are a lot more crazier on that, and the cheesy grin. But yeah, face sculpt, yeah, you can definitely tell who it is nonetheless. The scarf is exactly the same, it's still not painted. But this is when you really start to see the differences. So if we just have a look, the cravat is a lot more lighter on the new B&M 4th Doctor, which is more of akin to the Seeds of Doom 4th Doctor. And the waistcoat is a lot more brighter and vibrant, but you still have the checker detail, so it's a bit more cartoonified. This waistcoat just seems more like a cartoon 4th Doctor waistcoat. And the jacket, if we just turn it around, because it's a bit difficult to say, as you can see, this jacket is purple. I mean, it is a sort of dark sort of aubergine purple, really sort of like a dusty sort of damson colour, I guess, whereas this is a lot more brown. Hopefully you can just see the cameras picking it up, because this is brown in person, this is sort of purple if you get it into the right light. It is purple, so yeah, I'm just yeah, hopefully you can see the difference in colour there. But that is purple in real life. And the trousers basically exactly the same, and the shoes are different. As you can see, they're a bit more of a glossy brown, whereas this is more of a sort of a dusty grey. For right then, on to Leela, based from sort of Invasion of Time in a sort of season 15. I think this is when like her sort of outfit became. Yeah, I think this is season 15 when she got the different sort of outfit. So if we look at articulation, the head does move slightly. It moves better to one side than the other because the hair does sort of hinder it. But the thing with the Leela figure is the arms are so dainty and thin. You just got to be careful, they might snap. So the arms are ball jointed, biceps, sorry, can do a 360, elbow 360, hands do a 360 but are stiff, waist can do a 360, legs do kick out but the legs do pop off. That is the thing with all Leela figures, and they do kind of kick out but it is hindered by the skirt piece, and the knee do bend, and we do have boot articulation, so standard Leela articulation. So if we look at the detail, the face sculpt, you can tell it's Leela if the outfit didn't give it away. We've got the nice detailing of the hair. Obviously we've got the separate piece where the different head sculpt for like the image of the Fendal Leela sort of headpiece would fit in, because that is essentially a plug. The hair is done really nicely. You can see all the different strands. We've got sort of a little bit of a brown wash to give it that textured look, and yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, face sculpt done very nice. You've got Leela's little necklace sculpted there. Got sort of detailing there of sort of creases to sort of highlight sort of the design, like it's all sort of patched together. Got a little knife belt there, sort of detailing there. Again, we've got this nice bit of stitching detail, which is done really nice, and then got the nice seams there and a little pocket to put a little Janus Fawns in, I guess. And got some the boot detail, which again is done rather nice with brown with a sort of dusty wash over to give it sort of that worn and sort of worn out look, which is done rather nicely. And we do have the laces on the back for the boot. So yeah. So if I bring in the Invasion of Time set Leela, as you can see, there is already a clear difference in the face sculpt. You can see the Invasion of Time set Leela has more of brown hair, which I think is a lot more accurate to how it was in the story. And the eyes have now changed from brown to blue, because I think Louise Jameson's eyes were naturally blue, I think. Yeah, I mean, I've got to say I do prefer the face sculpt, well, the paint apps on the face of this Leela, because this just seems like a bit of a Poundland knockoff. Costume now, you can see the lines are more defined on the B&M set, as you can see, so it gives it more of a defined look, whereas they're a bit faded on the Invasion of Time set Leela, which is said for the back as well. Really, it's a bit better sculpted on the back for the Invasion of Time set one. Also, the boots are different, as you can see. They're a lot more lighter on the Invasion of Time set Leela, whereas they're a bit more darker because they've got sort of a dustier wash over them. So there's a nice little difference there. Leela isn't Leela without a knife, so the knife is a lot more rubbery, whereas it's a bit more rigid, it's a bit more stiff. And the handle is different. It's gone from a green to now sort of a basic brown handle. So yeah, those are the differences with K9. Yes, we finally got a classic K9 figure, and it is absolutely joyous to have. So if we look at the detail, because articulation is rather basic, you can see his head just slightly turns, but I wouldn't recommend it. So if we look at the head for K9, you can see we've got a nice little ridge effect there. You can see his little scanner sculpted there, and the ears are done rather nicely with the little probes there. You can see his little laser sculpted there, just done rather nice. And we've got a nice piping detail on his neck, and the dog collar is done really well. We've got nice little silver fender bumpers, and we've got K9 sculpted there. And we have the updated, repainted, should I say, control thing. And normally you'd push that down and the chest panel would sort of pop off to reveal some detail, but that doesn't work. I mean, hopefully on camera you can see that they have glued that shut, so if you could undo that, it probably would pop off. But yeah, you can just see in the light that they have glued that up, and the tail detail is done really nice. You can see all the sort of ridges there, done really nice. Yeah, absolutely splendid. There you got his little computer bank there. So yeah, let's have a quick compare to the new series, because this K9 is still inaccurate, because it is basically just a repaint of the new series K9, because the original K9 didn't have this little bit of silver there, and he didn't have this little silver bit at the back as well. But if we just bring in the new series K9, you can see there is definitely a change in colour. The classic K9 is more of a gunmetal grey. You can really see the differences with the classic K9 to the new series, and it is just a really nice little addition to have the classic K9. It's a real nice little figure to finally have, despite the inaccuracies. There you can really see the difference in both of them, and yeah, compared to that, what come with the Warriors of the Gate 4th Doctor, it's a nice little... Now K9 is friction drive, so that means you just pull him back and he should be able to go. So let's have a bit of a K9 race with the new series one, so let's see who wins. Yay! Classic K9 won. So yeah, that's really nice. Classic K9 won. So yeah, he is friction drive, so you just pull back and go, and off he goes to save the Doctor. Okay, then on to the final set of figures, the 9th Doctor figure set, or the Rose set, because basically these figures are from Rose. So without further ado, let's look at the 9th Doctor. So taking a look at the articulation, the head can do a 360, arms can do a 360, we've got bicep, what can do 360, 90 degrees at the elbow. Do have a wrist, but it is very stiff, and we do have waist articulation, but it might be hindered by the coat. The legs do kick out, and we do have knee, so yeah, your standard 9th Doctor. So taking a look at the details, so the head sculpt, you can definitely tell it is Christopher Eccleston. I've got to say the paint apps have been really more refined with this, so the hair's done rather nice. You can see each sort of individual strand there, which is done rather nicely. The face, well, the paint apps on the face are done rather nice. You can see the lines on his forehead, and the eyebrows have been a lot more calmed down, because on the 13th Doctor set one, they were basically slugs attached to Christopher Eccleston's face. You've got his little beauty spot sculpted there, which is very nice. Yeah, very nice. The lips are a bit crazy. That's a bit of quality control, I guess, but from a distance it looks fine, really. Taking a look at the costume has done really nice. I've got to say the updated paint apps for the leather jacket has really helped give it that battered leather jacket look, which I'll show you in a minute with a comparison. So yeah, you can see the real creases. It really has highlighted the details, such as the buttons. The lapels have been scuffed there. It just gives it more of a battered feel. You've got the button on the cuff there. It's just done really nicely. The button, the pocket sculpted there. It's just done really nice. We've got the nice panelling detail of the jacket and the strap on the back. It's just done really nice. Honestly, very good. Updated paint apps. The shirt's done rather nice with the creases there, and the trousers are just standard black trousers with a few creases, and the black shiny boots, and the creases, like I said, do help give it that lifelike effect. So the detail is very good. The 11th Doctor set 9th Doctor. So if we look at the face first, as you can see, the 11th Doctor set 9th Doctor is a lot paler, but obviously you can see the detailing a bit better, because the paint apps are very thick on this actually, but you can still make out the lines on his forehead. But that's the thing with recent figures, the paint apps have been a lot heavy, so you sort of hide some of that detail, but it is there. But yeah, Eccleston's had a bit more makeup put on him on this figure. The jumper is a darker burgundy. Yeah, that's another difference. The jacket, this is kind of like a glossy sort of black, but now the jacket's sort of a matte black, and you can see, and I personally prefer this leather jacket because it just gives it that battered, worn feel, like it did in the show. So if you turn it around, you can really see the difference in weathering, and it sort of reminds me of the Toys R Us 9th Doctor. As you can see, it just has that more matte black, and it's just highlighted wash over it. So yeah, that's done really nicely. Those are the only real differences. The sonic screwdriver is basically the 13 Doctor's sonic screwdriver, what we saw, with a darker colour emitter. It's time to look at this monstrosity of a figure. Right, the rumour around for this set was supposedly we were going to get the prototype Rose figure, where we wouldn't have this silly static stance, but we've ended up with this because, hey, it's cheaper. Yay! Yeah, right, let's get on to it. So, articulation, the head doesn't really move, the hair just hinders it. The arms do move very, very stiff. We do have bicep, and the legs do kick out, And that's your articulation. Yeah, this is about like the third time this figure's been released. Because obviously they had this in the Dalek pack, and then they had like released it with the robot spiders, and then they've done this. So yeah, so if we look at the detail, I'm sorry, we've got to look at this. We've got emo Rose because her hair's covering her eyes because she's going through the emo phase. But yeah, the paint apps on the eyes, just no, they're just crazy. But the hair's done nice. We've got a nice sort of blonde base coat, and then they've put a sort of a hazelnut sort of wash over it to give it a sort of more of a layered textured effect. The hoodie's done nice. You've got the zip sculpted there, the top poking out there, got a nice band there, the creases, and we've got this Rose and the hoodie sculpted there. And I don't think in the actual show she had a hoodie saying Rose, so that's just character just going, look, her name is Rose. And then we've got some legal stuff there from 2004. God, those were the days. Yeah, it's just a bit of a crazy figure. You've got the jean pocket sculpted there, some creases on the trousers, and yeah, trainers. Yeah, this is one of the first figures, so the updated paint apps are more than welcome really. So if I bring in the original, yeah, she had basically crayon yellow hair back then, and it's more of a red top. But yeah, so if we look at the face, I will say the face has improved, only slightly, but yeah, it's a more matte colour. I mean, I can't compare it to the robot spider one because I wasn't asked with getting that set back in the day. But yeah, you can see the differences. It's more of a red colour now. It's more of a sort of a pinky colour. Trousers. Yeah, that's basically. So if we take a look at the monster of the set, the grey Auton, which I believe was exclusive to Woolworths back in the day, was in a set and single carded. So it's kind of nice for character to release this because I didn't get the grey Auton back in the day, so this is a nice little added bonus for suffering to get the Rose figure. So if we look at the articulation, the head does move slightly, the arms do a full 360, you've got bent at the elbow, the wrists do a 360, and we do have this nice little feature where if you just swivel his hand around, it reveals his little Auton gun. Waist can do a 360, legs kick out, and we just bend at the knee. So yeah, the articulation may be basic, but it really does enhance the Auton figure because they're quite rigid things after all, because they are plastic dummies, so it really does enhance the figure with giving it that sort of very basic movement. So yeah, onto the details. So if we look at the head, you can definitely tell it is a plastic dummy. We've got the sculpting of the hair done rather nicely there, and with his rather blank expression, I've got to say he's more expressive than the Rose figure. Got with nice detailing on the suit jacket with the buttons, the pockets there, the sort of the design there, and again the seams on the back, the creasing on the trousers, got a lifelike effect, and the seam a lot going along the trousers, and even got the laces sculpted on his trousers, so and even his little belt sculpted there, and the buttons on the shirt, and we even do have the sculpting of the Auton gun there. You can see the little ridge there, and this is always a bit of a bad feature really, because that easily normally snaps off as a kid, because obviously it is quite a little dainty little thing, so be careful. Because I always thought they could have done like what they did with the classic series figure, just removable hand. So if we bring in the other Auton, because all the Auton figures are exactly the same. I mean, this one's probably the closest one basically, because it is the paler Auton, what they did. But yeah, we'll bring in the others, there we go. And yeah, it's nice to have a few more Autons to build that Auton army, so the nestings can take over. So that concludes the Doctor Who B&M set reviews for 2017. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one, whatever that will be. So thank you very much for watching, and bye bye.